everybody. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. Win the week number 15. You got Kyle and Joe with you.
Let's go. Let's go.
Kyle, talk to me. How was the weekend? What were some of the things you did? How'd you celebrate out there?
Yeah, man. Hey, closed the week out strong last week. And, we talked about this on a previous episode. We had no real plans this weekend, which was awesome. Went out to eat Saturday, watched football Sunday. It was great. Recharged the batteries. And now I'm feeling great, ready to get this thing going, man. How was your weekend?
Love that. The world traveler stayed home. I love to hear that.
Let's
go. Yeah, the weekend was good for me. I dialed it back, cleaned around the place. I had a fantasy basketball draft Friday. One thing I'll say was great, and we have hit on this a bit. I got out there and got just a nice seafood meal on Saturday. There's something to be said about that. Down here, it is stone crab season. So
wow.
What does that mean? They're letting, the restaurants actually now, get the stone crab from the water. They don't let them do it during most of the year. I think there's like a 4-month period. So I got out there and I had myself some stone crab, and it was delicious. There's something to be said about a nice meal on a weekend.
Hey, man, stone crab, if you're in Florida, you can't go wrong. So I feel you there, man. Cool. What do we got today?
Yeah, I figured right now, before we dive in, why don't I'll ask you, Kyle, what's a couple goals you have for this week? What's one or two things we want to focus on and make sure we check the box?
Yeah, so I think for me, a couple things. One, I'm going on my honeymoon here in a couple weeks, so I'm in sales. Don't want to get too deep into my my job and my career, but I've got some things I got to take care of before I head out, and so I'm really buckled in and going to be hyper focused on the career front this week. And I'm actually going to Cleveland for the Browns game Thursday, and then I'm going to Jacksonville to celebrate a family member's birthday this weekend. So got a lot going on, a lot coming up. So I really got to dial in on the diet and the working out too. So I am planning on getting 4 miles a day. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to try to get 4 miles a day running as well. So really for me, my big focuses right now are career, getting a workout in and just doing a lot of decent, distance running, and then, dialing in the diet. So that's what it looks like for me this week. What about you, man? Are you focused on anything particular?
Big thing for me right now is just trying to make sure, that yesterday, today, tomorrow, and Thursday, that I am really just hitting the 10 ways to win. Just a full on sprint, because excited for it this weekend. I do have some friends in town. So with that, we're going to invest in some relationships. It's always good to see some old buddies and such and get out there and have a good time and watch football. So with that, I want to make sure that, I'm hitting on those 10 ways to win hard, Monday through Thursday, and really just celebrating on the weekend. It's always good to reconnect with some old buddies. So with that, perfect segue actually. So today we wanted to kick it off one last time, just discussing, why these are put together, why the assessments are important, and just kind of how that is going to lay the framework for you, the listeners out there, moving forward. Kyle, what you got?
Yeah. So again, the 10 ways to win, we've already done the assessment. We've kind of gone in depth, one category per episode on why it's important, some tips that we have. So these are always going to be a theme, and they're always going to be kind of the foundation of, win the week moving forward. But again, we have identified these ways as, hey, if I can focus on these things, if I can improve on these things, this is going to set me up for success. And that's what this is all about, right? So I think a big thing right now is understanding, okay, did you improve from the moment you took the assessment till now, right? What areas do you still need to improve on? What areas have you gotten better in? And really be honest with yourself. Again, this is all about improvement. You've got to be honest if you want to make improvements, right? So again, this is something you might even want to visit on a week-to-week basis, right? You need to take a look at this. You need to say, hey, where do I need to get better? Where do I need to improve? And hold yourself accountable. So, Joe, I don't know if there's a couple on here that you feel like you still need work on, or if you still, or maybe you made some improvements on. What did you look like now that we've kind of gone through the assessment and the 10 different episodes on the categories? Like how are you lining up? Did you make improvements? Where is that at now?
The few areas I wanted to make sure and make a focus over the course of the last, month or so here was meditating, right? And really just honing in on that mental health and, getting back. So that was an area where I was doing it maybe once or twice a week. I've improved to at least do it an extra day or so a week. So I'm not perfect there, but I'll say that just detoxing for 10 minutes mentally a day has really made a big difference on me. So that's one area that I have gotten a lot better in since we started this, right? And then a second area was just getting outside. And that is something that I was probably around 3 days, but I really don't think there's an excuse for you to not hit a perfect 5 on that one, right? So that's probably where I made the biggest stride. Is I have been able to just pretty much, every day of the week since we started, just been able to get out there for 10, 15 minutes. And I'll tell you what, it really does, work wonders for you. It really does. So, those are the two that really came to mind for me. And it was great to see some progress. So, I hope that, some of you guys out there, gals out there, were able to improve as well, right? Because we really did go through individually each of these and provided, some insight on ways to make sure you're able to hit on X, Y, and Z, whatever of the 10 it might be. So yeah, those two I hit on really well. I was able to improve. We're not perfect. Being honest with ourselves, we're not perfect by any means, but improvement is what we're looking for.
For sure. So one thing to note too is this is kind of a critical time of the year because it's starting to get colder out. It's going to get dark earlier. You've got holidays coming up.
By the way, hate how it gets dark early. That's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's like, you get off work and all of a sudden it's pitch black out. It's just it's tough to deal with, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
And then it doesn't, I mean, obviously you're in Florida now, but you lived in Cleveland and, especially when it's cold out, it's a tough time. Let's just be honest. But I think we'll talk about this too in some upcoming episodes, but there really are a lot of challenges that present themselves here as we get into, the fall and into the winter. And it's not an excuse to stop trying. It's not an excuse to just stop working hard. And we're going to be able to help you guys navigate through, some of the colder seasons, and especially with the holidays, Thanksgiving, are you traveling? Christmas, are you out of town? It can get really challenging. But I'm excited to have some conversations and talk about some best practices that I know at least worked for me as far as how to kind of navigate this season and to try to, maintain and not really just mail it in because, it's cold or because, you're out of town for holidays. So we have some pretty cool content coming up over the next couple of weeks with the interviews. We're interviewing some really great, athletes, coaches, business owners. Got a couple win the week athletes that we're going to be speaking to, which is pretty cool. And they've got some great advice as well.
Yeah. We are going to narrow down into those challenges and we're going to hit on those. We do want to hear from you as well. We've heard from some of you, we know what some of the challenges are out there, but shoot us a message. Let us know. Say, hey, I've been really trying to hone in on my diet, and here are some of the challenges I face. It's hard for me to do it when I travel for work. It's hard for me to do it when I go visit home or whatever it might be, and I'm eating out frequently. Let us know some of those challenges. We're going to hit on them, but we don't necessarily know all the ones that are out there, right? We just know the ones that we know. So shoot us a message. Let us know. Very, very excited about the upcoming interviews. That'll be some great content for you guys out there. I think you'll be able to take a lot from that moving forward. So that'll be a lot of fun. But, it's almost like these 10 are like almost the 10 commandments is really how you do win the week. So this is something that is very important. Continue to figure out areas that you can get better and such, because the whole lifestyle of winning the week really does boil down to these 10, right? And that's why we wanted to start on the front end, really honing in on each one of them, because it is so important. But definitely looking forward to hitting on those different challenges that everyone is facing. Looking forward to kind of walking through the rest of this year. And, my gosh, it's mid-October. There's only about 2.5 months left. How can we really get better in those next 2.5 months to really set ourselves up for a successful 2022? Right.
For sure. Yeah. And the 10 are, again, it's just a reminder. Take a look at them every now and then. It's so easy to get off track It's so easy
Yeah.
to forget to pay attention to one of the 10 categories, and we get that. So just make sure you're taking a look at that weekly, bi-weekly, just whatever works for you, and give each of those categories a time. I think like a lot of times we look for, happiness, and we look for positivity in external factors, things that are outside of our control. But really, at the end of the day, if you want to be happy and if you really want to be, proud of the person you are, you have to start with these 10 ways, and you really have to master these 10, and then that changes everything else. So don't look externally for, your happiness. Start with yourself and really focus on these 10 ways. And I think it's going to put you in a good spot. Joe, I think, it's been nice to kind of recap the 10 ways to win in the assessment. And again, we're going to transition here with the content. These are always going to be embedded in the episodes, but I think it's going to be really exciting to, change the conversation and really look at, handling challenges and, talking with some really great members of our community. So why don't you bring us home, Joe?
Yeah, I'll take us home. I'll say one last thing. Of these 10, if you're feeling in a rut on one of them or whatever, or you can get better in X, Y, Z of them, there's a reason that we went into each one. And there's a reason that we like to keep these about 10 to 15 minutes. Go back and re-listen to, if you're working on your sleep, go back and re-listen to the sleep podcast, right? It will help you get back to center and get back on track. So with that, taking us to pay dirt, we will see the rest of you guys here on Thursday, October 21st. As Kyle mentioned, a little teaser, we will have a great interview with a Win the Week athlete on Thursday. So be sure to tune in, give us a follow on our socials, and continue to win the week.
We about to win the week, hey.